Miss Kenny.
Miss Kenny. Was she nice?
Lovely.
Do you remember?
Some days I do.
Some days you do
Yeah, I
remember.
was thinking of her recently, actually, but not today.
Do you remember, Michael, the name?
Not a clue.
No. Sarah? You do? Ah, what was her name? Or his name?
Miss Nicholas.
Miss Nicholas. Okay. Was she nice? Yeah. We had 2 kindergarten teachers in our Catholic elementary school. And the first one, I can't remember too much about them actually. First one had dark hair, and her name was Mrs. Boardman. And the second one had red hair, and her name was Mrs. Helpman. I'm glad I got Mrs. Helpman. The name itself kind of speaks for itself. You know, she was very helpful and very nice. And I'll always remember her as long as I live, Mrs. Helpman.
Miss Morgan.
Miss Morgan.
Yeah.
Ah, she came back. Okay, very good. So the reason I ask is this: the more I think about it, the more it occurs to me that we're still in kindergarten. When it comes to life, and we're all in kindergarten, and yeah. So, and sometimes it's important to remember that and break out the blankies. I don't know if you did that in your kindergarten.
Yeah.
We had little blankies. We would curl up and take naps, and it was lovely.
Yeah, good.
I thought we would share tonight a little bit from David White, who speaks about a kind of kindergarten that we're all in. Let's see if I can find it. So this is entitled Self-Knowledge, from Consolations, the Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words, by David White. Self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is not fully possible. Whew, that's good. We do not reside in a body, a mind, or world where it is achievable, or from the point of being interesting, even desirable. Half of what lies in the heart and mind is potentiality, resides in the darkness of the unspoken and unarticulated, and has not yet come into being. This hidden, unspoken half will supplant and subvert any present understandings we have about ourselves. Human beings are always and always will be a frontier between what is known and what is not known. The act of turning any part of the unknown into the known is simply an invitation for an equal measure of the unknown to flow in and reestablish that frontier, to reassert the far inward, as yet unknown horizon of an individual life, to make us what we are, that is, a moving edge between what we know about ourselves and what we are about to become. What we are actually about to become, or are afraid of becoming, always rules over what we think we are already. Sometimes I don't like David White. You know, it just reminds me too much of what's real. So we'll carry on with that. The hope.
The hope that a human being can achieve complete honesty and self-knowledge with regard to themselves is a fiction and a chimera. The jargon and goals of a corporate educational system brought to bear on the depths of an identity where the writ of organizing language does not run.
Self-knowledge includes the understanding that the self we want to know is about to disappear. What we can understand is the way we occupy this frontier between the known and the unknown, the way we hold the conversation of life, the figure we cut at that edge. But a detailed audit of the self is not possible and diminishes us in the attempt to establish it. We are made on a grandeur scale, half afraid of ourselves, half in love with immensities beyond any name we can give.
Self-knowledge is often confused with transparency, but knowledge of the self always becomes the understanding of self as a confluence between what is known and not known, a flowing meeting of elements, including all of the innumerable souls in the world, not a set comedy to be unearthed, measured and knocked into shape. Self-knowledge is not clarity or transparency or knowing how everything works. Self-knowledge is a fiercely attentive kind of frontier conversation with the unknown, a form of humility and thankfulness, sense of privilege and particular form of participation, coming to know the way we hold the conversation of life, and perhaps above all, the miracle that there is a particular something rather than an abstracted nothing, and we are a very particular part of that particular something.
What we recognize in flawless honesty and transparency in an individual is actually the humble demeanor of the apprentice, someone paying extreme attention to themselves, to others, to life, to the next step, which they may survive or they may not. Someone who does not have all the answers, but who is attempting to learn what they can about themselves and those with whom they share the journey. Someone like everyone else wondering what they and their society are about to turn into. We are neither what we think we are, nor entirely what we are about to become. We are neither purely individual nor fully a creature of our community, but an act of becoming that can never be held in place by a false form of nomenclature. No matter how our need to find a place to stand amidst the onward flow of the world, the real foundation of the self is not in self-knowledge, but in the self-forgetfulness that occurs when it means something other than the self it first wanted to know. That's the end of the page.
Ah, thank you. Any response to David White?
I had the thought come that when I quit trying to say I'm like this or that, I'm actually different with every encounter with every person. That I shift a little, they shift, and there's an interaction. So I don't know who I am until I'm talking to somebody, a lot of the time. And it's an observation, came up with this.
I think that's going to need a lot of reading over and over and over.
I've marked it for you, boy.
Thank you.
What's the page number?
146. kind of exhilarating and disappointing at the same time for me, to think that I don't really know myself, particularly as much as I think I might at times. A couple things come to mind. The image of the iceberg, right, where the bit appears above and you say, oh, there it is, when in fact, most of it is not seen. Right? And then, of course, the famous scene from The Matrix where he walks into the room where the Oracle is, right? And in the conversation, she points to what's above the door. Remember what that is? Know thyself. Do you remember where that comes from?
What happened? Something.
Yeah, it's when the ancient Greeks used to consult the Oracle in the temple at Delphi.
Okay.
Oh,
That's what was written above the door.
Ah.
Right? Know yourself. And it's embarrassing, to realize how little I know myself. Of course, I don't realize that, but I'll take it. I'll trust that's true. Yeah, it's kind of humbling. The Irish have a way of seeing life that's interesting. I'll be forever grateful to the Irish, my friends, who reminded me and continue to. For example, when they would never say in Irish, I'm sad, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They would say, Tabran orm, Tabran orm, which means sadness is on me, which is interesting, because it suggests that if sadness is on me, it can be off me. It's not me.
Yeah.
Right? And the emotions are like a coat that we put on and take off, I guess. But they, I think, instinctively saw that the self is much deeper and much more mysterious and much more unknown than our emotions, which is interesting. Any other thoughts? Close with a song. A little Irish lullaby tonight. In vocables or syllables. 5 lines long. I'll sing it once and then join me. La this day a little lullaby to soothe the soul. May we look within. May we hear and see what we need to hear and see. May we become more of our true self, free and more free. May it be so.